Hello and welcome back. I hope you are well. It is now November and I'm very pleased to say that I completed my first Inktober. I am overjoyed and so happy, and I'm going to do a little sketchbook tour while I talk to you, where you can see all 31 drawings that I did. So while you are looking at my sketchbook, which is a Moleskine Art Collection A5, for those who are interested, I will chat about my concluding thoughts on Inktober and also some unexpected positives that I had no idea would come from this challenge, but I'm so happy that they did. And also whether or not I am going to do Inktober next year. So I'm going to start with my general thoughts on Inktober and how it went. For those who haven't seen my other videos, especially my first video on Inktober, I'll leave my first video linked in the cards for you, where I discuss how I was planning Inktober because I have a chronic illness. And some of the ideas that I thought of in that video did end up helping me a lot during this challenge. I'm very happy to say that I never fell behind. At worst, I was doing that day's drawing on the day of the drawing. And I was using the high energy days I had to do 2 or 3 drawings, which then covered the days that I was ill. So I did have a couple days in October where I was too ill to do anything. And that system that I had prepared in advance did work for me. And I'm happy that I managed to adjust the challenge for my illness so that I was able to complete it. And overall, it was an interesting experience. It definitely brought up stuff that I wasn't expecting. So one of the things that I discussed in one of my midway videos was how content creation ended up coming up a lot in my experience of Inktober, because I was managing not just YouTube but also Instagram and TikTok, and making these long form videos, short form videos, reels, photos, just all that stuff. And doing that on a daily basis was a lot. And I ended up finding, as the days and weeks went on, that I was making systems to better manage that on a day-to-day basis. I was coming up with things that were easier to do and ways to use content in multiple ways and things like that. I discussed it a little bit in that video. And if you have any questions on how I did that, let me know in the comments and I can answer them. But I definitely found towards the end of the month that content creation was a lot smoother and a lot easier to do because of the things I'd learnt along the way. And another thing that came up was, especially towards the last week or 2 of the challenge, was that I was wanting to be doing other things, especially things that take a longer amount of time, because Inktober did take a lot of time. I was doing the thumbnails, as you can see in there. I was doing thumbnails and then the sketch and then the inking, and then I was editing the videos and doing all the social media stuff. It was taking up quite a lot of time. But I was wanting to be doing pieces that took longer than a day. I wanted to be doing more watercolor paintings or digital paintings that might take like 15, 20, 25 hours. And I realistically didn't have as much time in my day or as much energy with my condition to be doing Inktober and also doing those things as well. But I did end up taking the time to do some sketchbooking work alongside Inktober, especially towards the second half of the challenge. I was doing a lot more graphite work and things like that to sort of balance my experience with Inktober. So stuff that I wasn't posting, stuff that was very relaxing. I could go at whatever speed I wanted. I could take 3 days to do one graphite sketch or whatever if I wanted to. Just something that was the complete opposite to Inktober. Definitely helped me balance things out. I did notice that my rough sketchbook, where I do a lot of my studies and I do my self-study curriculum and everything, I did less in there during Inktober, which makes sense because I was spending most of my time doing Inktober. And yeah, definitely found that I was balancing that more towards the last half of the month. And now I will probably discuss the positives that I was not expecting at all. So I ended up making a bunch of friends and connections because of my posts, because of my YouTube videos. And I've ended up coming away from this challenge not just with more mileage, more experience of using ink or creativity or anything like that. It's actually been connections and networking and art friends and things like that. I've ended up coming away with people that I can carry on a connection with, and I think that's a really, really beautiful part of the challenge that I didn't even realize would end up happening, and it's really a joy to know that that's come from the challenge, and I hope that some of these connections can keep going on into the future. It's also been really fun connecting with other people through my prompts list as well, because I did my own prompts for the challenge and a few people participated, which was so happy to see. And I loved everything you came up with. I kept checking the hashtag and seeing what all of you were up to, and I shared some of them in I think it was last week's video. I shared some at the end. And I loved seeing what everyone was coming up with for the different prompts. Some people came up with wildly different things from each other, which was amazing to see. And it was also lovely seeing how everyone's creative voice was different. Just seeing the variety in artists was lovely. And we're in the video right now, we're coming up on the final few days. And yep. That's my final piece right there. It's the Day 31 Legend. And for my final thoughts, am I going to do Inktober next year? I think I will, but I'm probably not going to do the 31 days, 31 drawings version. I'm probably going to do something more along the lines of Drawtober, or even Audra or Claire's come up with Orktober this year. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but the idea is that there's multiple prompts and you can do as many pieces as you want to do in that month using multiple prompts or just one prompt or whatever you want to do. And I think that might be a lot easier for me to manage next year, but also still be somewhat of a challenge because I can do as many days as I want to do. And I won't have to worry quite as much about how I manage my energy or anything like that. But I definitely want to participate again next year in some fashion. We shall see how that ends up going ahead. But thank you for watching, thank you for joining, and I will see you next week. Bye.